looks to me like it's missing one of these because there's nothing connected onto here. The motor turns this axle and then doesn't turn this, right? So they're missing a part. I'll have to get that from the studio tomorrow. Okay. I found a part, harvested it from something else I was saving, and we're gonna stick it right here so that the motor can move. Okay, testing the motors on the color sorter. After a little bit of debugging and troubleshooting with the gears that were messed up, I have created two different little blocks here. One says run the motor, the large motor D, at -100% for 2 seconds, 2000 milliseconds. The second one says run the medium motor A at -100% for 1 second. And then here is a sensor instruction on touch 1. So when the touch sensor is pressed, reset the large motor. So this is the touch sensor. So this is actually going into the sensors already, just so you know. This is good. But we actually have to do it in order to test the motor. So let's see what this is going to do. And now we're going to move it. I downloaded it, now I'm moving it. And then, so it's already over there. It pushes the touch sensor, and then it pushes it back a little bit, and then it lets the medium motor go next, and it runs the motor. This is just to make sure that the motors can work. Okay, so far so good. 2 motors, 1 sensor. So I am going to go to my downloads and get the 13 program. I've done this a lot so far this morning. And here is projects. Whoops. Okay, it fed something. Okay, documenting what this program does now. It's far from perfect. Warning, warning, far from perfect. It does engage 2 sensors, enable them to be used, and it does use 2 motors, but I want to share with you that the program doesn't work very well, and there's a lot of logic and amount of time, but that's what happens sometimes. So I'm going to move the program over to the EV3 environment, color sorter 6, into projects, and I'm going to talk through what's happening. The program runs, and we are basically resetting the motors, checking the motors to make sure they work. It goes all the way to that side. The touch sensor touches it, and then it comes back a little bit, and then it runs the other motor. That way we know all the motors work. Then it goes into a wait state, waiting for us to scan the colors. So the way I set that up is that we do this, and then we do right, and then something shows on the screen. Now that showed red 5, and this is obviously blue. Here we have, it shows red 5. So there's something going on, but we are sensing color. We're just not storing the right value. Something like that. That says yellow 4, so that's kind of nice. But my variables are kind of messed up. And you know, this happens sometimes. The program is a little convoluted. So that says yellow 4. And here we go. And this one says, I'm out of space, so whatever. Anyway, that's it. That's what we're doing right now. And theoretically, if the program was working, the rest of the program was working, maybe you guys can make it work. But the rest of the program is supposed to then, when I press the center button, it's supposed to light the status light and then move this certain amounts and then deposit the colors so that in different places. And that's kind of all we had. So I'm sorry, not a color sorter, not even a very accurate color reader, but it does engage 2 sensors and use 2 motors. And I think that's the requirement, right? So here's what I had put up there. Maybe you guys can fix it for me. Thank you. This uses a lot of features that you guys may not be used to yet. That's okay, bear with me. This is called an array. I set a list of 8 because apparently only 8 of the color things can fit in the tray. And I initialize, which means I set a first value of the array, each array thing, to be 99. That's because I wanted to sort of have it be not a color number. Then I run the motors to reset them or to make sure they work, right? And then I cleared the screen. So every time I run it, whatever I've put out the next time will go away. This one says, while you still haven't processed 8, so while list size less than 8, then it has a bunch of different things you do. Pause until the right button pressed. You're scanning each color and then loading it. So you press the right button after you've got the color over the sensor, and then I put some display. Show the number, the length of the array list at line 9. Oh, so you know what? At this point, this should be 8 because, well, I changed some things. Never mind that. If the button center is pressed, which is at the end when we're done loading it, then we set the list size to 8, and then when it comes up to this while again, it'll break out. That's the idea, and that's what this break is for. Of course, it doesn't seem to be doing that. So, okay, maybe I should take this break out. I will. Then else, if the color sensor detects blue, then add the value of the color sensor, that color value, to the end of the list. Then show blue and the color sensor color value at line 8, right? Line length of array 8, list is 8. Else, if the color sensor is red, then add the value of the color sensor to the end of the list. So you have like a little list that, oh, to the end of the list. Okay, I'm just going to go through this. Show the value red, and then show the color sensor value with the colors. So theoretically, if I use a red one there, you'll see the word red and then the color value for the red block. Else, add the value of the color sensor to the end, and then show yellow. Okay, so we've checked for blue, we've checked for red, and then we're just defaulting everything else to yellow. So even green or whatever would show up as yellow, but you can fix that. But it's not really quite working very well right now. I'm just getting a little stretched thin on this project. And then we increment list size by 1. Then I'm supposed to set the status light to orange, and we never see the orange status light come on, so it doesn't really do the rest of this, which is me trying to go through it and then run the motor to move it a certain amount. Oh, to reset it back to the starting position, and then take each value, and if the value is 4, which means one thing, one color, then put it to one position. If it means 4 means yellow, 5 means red, 2 means blue. So on the screen here, we see a few things. I don't know if we can see that. Yellow 4, so 4 means yellow. Oh gosh, yes, we read something right. Red is 5. So if you get this far, your sensor has read the color. But just know that I have some issues. And see that 12 under there? I'm a little confused as to what that is. I don't have a lot of time to finish this. So that's it. Thank you.